Darko, you talked before the game about the process of being in these close games, tough games down the stretch, or, what do you take away from losing in a situation like this at home to a team that's, certainly doesn't have their eyes on the playoffs?
I mean, definitely a tough loss for us. I think the game was really rebounding. It came down to that. They dominated the glass. They had 60 more rebounds than us. They had 19 offensive rebounds, and Precious had 11 of those. We just did not have enough discipline, enough effort to close on those possessions. Did a really good job on DeRozan in the first half, but as you well know, he can at any point catch fire. He was at 2 points in the first half, finished the game with 28. Did very poor job with discipline there, fouling him, sending him to the free throw line. When he was just catching the ball and sizing up in one-on-one situations, and that was pretty much the game. We were trying, we were fighting back, we cut down the lead, but when you don't approach the game from the start with level of intensity and attention to detail that you need to have, this is the outcome.
Is it, you use words like discipline or lack of intensity from the start? I mean, free throws, I think it's in 22 free throws you missed the past 2 games. Is where is your team mentally in that these are still issues at this stage?
And it was tough back-to-back. We did traveling last night from Detroit. Later start of the game tonight as well. Our energy level was not there from the start, and that's the main thing. Once we get our energy right, then our discipline and our focus and everything else is better.
6th straight game where Scotty has 10 or more assists, but do you think some of the added playmaking responsibilities he's had since IQ's been out has impacted other areas of his game at all?
He has a lot on his plate. He's trying to play make. Another game with 10 assists. But we also need him in this situation to score as well. So it's finding that fine balance between being aggressive and to score and to play make. I think he's trying to do his best in those situations.
The decision to go to Colin to start the third quarter was for the matchups and the rebounding and the.
Yeah, it was more for switchability in some of their actions, so we can have a more mobile 5 there, and also we wanted to have Yak to match up with their second unit guys with Caldwell and to make sure that we have size against him.
And Colin got the 2 quick fouls on DeMar. In that switch, that's the break of the game, right?
Yes, that was like for a rookie, you're playing one way every single night, and then you come up to those veteran players who know all the tricks in the book, and this was great learning opportunity for us, for several young guys, matching up and guarding him.
Darko, Yak hasn't played both ends of a back-to-back in quite some time. How did you feel he made out?
Physically, I think he was fine, but just in the line with the whole team, rebounding was not great. He ended the game with 5 rebounds, and we really needed that tonight, that side of the ball. So, it's good for him to have him over there. He really helped us in some situations to stabilize us in the spacing and with outlets, but rebounding was the main issue tonight.
RJ, given the situation, what's sort of the most disappointing thing about a loss like that?
We're tied for the play-in now, I think, something like that. So, this is a game we're supposed to win. Give them credit; they played hard. They've been playing well over this past little stretch for them. So, yeah, you come to a game. Precious has 22 and 19. Can't let him, things like that. They had a lot of offensive rebounds tonight. Our fight just wasn't where it needed to be from the beginning of the game. I think us being in like some early foul trouble kind of made us be less aggressive. But we gotta understand that we can't lose the aggressiveness at that point. We gotta stay there, just do it without fouling.
Darko was kind of saying that, this is a process. This is a group that hasn't really been together for a playoff run together before, and how would you say you guys are doing in that process so far?
Been doing well. We have a solid record, but it's nice like these where, this is a game we're supposed to win no matter what. And process or no process, we can't lose this game. Just straight up what it is. And we had some, CMB played well for us tonight, but just from top to bottom, we got to play better. Jamal played good. Sandro, we got to play better as a unit. And I had 5 turnovers. I can't have 5 turnovers, man. This is just, I don't know. This one's pretty frustrating. We've been playing well. We've been fighting hard all year. So you want to get the reward of making it to the playoffs and fighting for a championship. So nights like tonight definitely hurt, especially when we know how much work we put in. But we got 6 more games. So I think over these next 6 games, we'll show and prove who we are.
How much urgency does a loss like this create, especially with a few games left in the season and what you guys are trying to accomplish?
This loss didn't create urgency. There's been urgency, and I think that's part of why tonight's frustrating. It's because, we know what it is. We know how close this race is, and especially now after tonight, if we don't come out and fight with everything that we got for these next couple games, we got to play like our life depends on it.